Go ahead and jump into material here. Enough of the fluff. Talk about like why we need CCGM. So think about the fact that Catalyst Center today we have roughly we're managing about 18 million devices. That being said, we're managing devices means wireless access points, switches, routers, things of that nature. And on the Meraki dashboard, we're managing about 17 million plus, 33 million. We got 1 billion connected clients. But now, how many of you have more than one Catalyst Centers? How many have more than 2? 3? Let's see who's going to be 4. 5? All right, 8. All right. But the point here is, I mean, if you look at the overall average number of folks that we have, how many appliances we have, how many customers we have, just across of it, about 80% of our customer average is about 2 per customer, but we know that there's a huge chunk that has single nodes, and we have a lot of customers that do have more than 2. And kind of like we see here, up to 8. We have customers with as many as 16 that we know for really good reasons. So really what we're trying to do here is start also doing horizontal scaling. So with this, we have the appliances that you all know and love, right? You all love them, right? How many running on virtual appliances? All physical. OK, great. So, but our whole vision here is it doesn't matter whether you have single appliance, HA cluster, 3XL cluster, whether you're running AWS, VMware. We're about to finish and launch Azure here pretty quickly. Look into KVA, but it doesn't matter what you have, that you're able to go ahead and manage them and have visibility across. What's also that we see that's going to happen is that now rather than having to necessarily deploy big, massive servers, and appliances, you can scale horizontally. So now we're like out of the vertical scaling market, and we can also, I mean, we're still going to do our best there, but we're also going to focus on how we scale this horizontally across. So talking about scale, you should have all seen this, right? You're familiar with the scales. You've been making purchasing decisions on these. Nothing new to share here, but if I said I can support 25 different Catalyst Centers in Global Manager, now we're getting some big numbers. So assuming you have a 3XL cluster fully maxed out, which I know you all do, I can now manage 187 million endpoints, 21 million network devices, 50 million APs. Show me who can get close to that as far as being able to manage that. So I think our horizontal scaling here is just phenomenal as far as being able to go across. And we do have a lot of customers, like in airports, things of that nature, where there's just massive number of endpoints as well. So hopefully that can help resolve some of that. All right, so Global Manager, much like you kind of see in the picture here, the whole thought is some of you have Catalyst Center clusters, maybe you have corporate area manufacturing. We've seen a lot of different scenarios. Some of you, because of the 200 millisecond latency requirement between the network and the controller Catalyst Center, you have them distributed globally. Sometimes because of administration, there's a lot of use cases. But the whole point here is you can have Catalyst Centers across the globe. You can have, and then in Tokyo here, for example, we can have a Global Manager that's able to pull this all together. So the global, but we see this, we see actually customer with like 8 clusters or something, they're all in like one regional location as well. It's not necessarily different. So we're going to test you. I know it's been kind of a long, we had everything yesterday. We had the party, and I'm sure you all had a good time. So let's see if you're awake. True or false? CCGM cannot run outside the United States. True or false? False. Otherwise, we wouldn't call it global, would we? All right, you're awake, sort of. So what can we deliver with Global Manager here? And trying to kind of look at this in the form of use cases. So we're going to try and initially, and this is all what we're developing here with phase 1, we're going to show you global visibility, global search, cross-launch, management plane visibility, which is kind of a really cool thing, and also the programmability that we have here. So we're now going to look at these use cases one by one here. So global visibility will give you ability simply to monitor network sites, client devices across multiple up to 25. We can aggregate inventory. We can aggregate also all of your P1, P2, and P3s. As you now have the connectivity to all, you no longer have to worry when you get a call, what Catalyst Center do I go on to, right? You pretty much can go into global search. You can search based on IP address, hostname, MAC address, or any other metadata that we provide to you. And then if you do need to double click on this for some reason, meaning like I'm looking for a user, I find the user, I want to go into the user 360, I can go ahead and double click and we will cross launch you into the right controller. So it's a really good entry point for operations folks, or if you want to look at global IT, you don't have to worry about which controller. We take care of that, it's very transparent. Now, how many of you, if I have multiple, monitor and know the health of your cluster today? Of your multiple clusters? It wasn't very confident, kind of a thing, right? But really what we're after here is now we give you ability to look at the management plane. So we also go, it's manager, so we have a lot of serviceability, a lot of APIs, so we're also giving you visibility into the management plane of the monitoring how are your Catalyst Center clusters doing, giving you the health information. And of course, with API first, everything we do programmability, we have open APIs. Think about the notion that now you can go make a single API query about a client. We will go make the queries to your X number of clusters and give you one answer back. Or now ability to get consolidated reporting if you use APIs for reporting because we're going to aggregate all that data. So it's a very powerful point for us to be able to provide all of this via APIs as well, the consolidation. And also, we also talking about AI everywhere. How many of you heard about this thing I think called AI Canvas? Anybody hear about that? So we're integrating that as well. So we're going to be able to provide things such as situational dashboards, leveraging the AI Canvas into the platform as well. And that's going to be part of what we have available in the launch. I want to double click on one topic here, and that is management plane versus the network plane. Catalyst Center has been really focused on the network layer, how we look at the clients, how we look at applications, the access points, the routers, things like that. And now the management layer is now how we focus on how are we able to look at the Catalyst Centers, making sure that your management layer is healthy, any kind of issues warning, you have visibility into it so you can manage it just like you can manage your network, which is how it should be. So that's the separation we have between those two layers. And then I want to be really clear. We're just starting the journey. Kind of you saw this, the birth slide. We're starting down the path here. And we do have a lot of plans. We have a great roadmap. We don't share roadmaps in sessions like this. However, we're looking at things. But today, this is all about Catalyst Centers at launch. So we're not doing ICE monitoring. We're not integrating, have integration today into Nexus Dashboard, into Firewall Cloud Security Center, vManage, collaboration, security, or Meraki Dashboard. These are all things that we do have on our strategic roadmap. But today, what's on the truck is Catalyst Centers. All right, so let's start and get to the business. How do I deploy CCGM get deployed? So let's talk about a couple things as far as requirements. What do I need on Catalyst Center? Really simple. I need to be on version 2.3.7.9 or higher. Hopefully all of you are like at least some version of 2.3.7 today. Good place to be. 2.3.7.9 is now also recommended release. So if you look on TAC, it has that beautiful little golden star on it. So that's an entry point. Now, some of these are common sense to you, but we should state the obvious sometimes. IP reachability CCGM is a requirement. We use port 443 to do the encrypted tunnel between the Catalyst Center and Global Manager. 350 millisecond latency, and this is what helps make this global. I know that you can get to most places in the world within 200 milliseconds, but not consistently. But so now you still have 200 milliseconds from the network devices to Catalyst Center, and then from Catalyst Center to Global Manager, 350 milliseconds. That should pretty much have a global reach, unless you have some unusual circumstances. And then we need to use your smart account and virtual account. That's great for Catalyst Center, and that's how we automate the registration. We have a really good example of how we use a lot of automation in order to kind of ease the process of how I get them added. All right, so true or false, check in, who's paying attention. CCGM can support Catalyst Center 2.3.7 or higher. Great, 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 great. So now what do we need to run Global Manager? So we need, it's a ESXi, so we need vCenter ESXi 7.0. It's a fairly small footprint compared to the Catalyst Center virtual appliance. 8 vCPUs, 16 gig of RAM, 100 gigabyte of space. We can support up to 25 controllers. Now, a controller, common question is, what if I have a cluster of 3? We're talking about management IPs. So if you have a cluster counts as a singular controller for us. And of course, we still have the requirements, the 350 millisecond, the smart account, and also the virtual account to connect that. So based on what I just said, can CCGM run in AWS? Well, I mean, sort of. I mean, if you want to pay a lot of money to run ESXi in AWS, then yes. But right now, it only supports ESXi, but not natively AWS. But if you have Catalyst Center on AWS, you can connect that to CCGM, to be very clear about that. What about licensing? So licensing is always a pleasant topic. Don't we love talking about licensing? So CCGM license is included in your Active DNA license. We talk about the value of the advantage licenses. You're buying into innovation. This is an example how we bring more value into the innovation of the licensing. There's no additional cost. It's included in your license. There's no separate support contract. So if you have the appliances, serial number, you have the contract on the appliances, you're able to call TAC. You don't need to do anything else. The serial numbers do register because we still require a $0 PO. So we're going to be able to track that. It's going to be tied to your smart account and the virtual account. And the CCGM entitlements are included with your Active DNA entitlement that you have. So that's good news. So if you have Catalyst Centers, you don't have to go ask for more budget. You just have to go ask for 8 vCPUs from your cloud team or your ESXi team. All right, is CCGM expensive? But it's priceless, right? All right. So how do I add Catalyst Center, the Catalyst Centers into CCGM? We made it actually really, really easy and simple, or at least we tried to. There's really 5 steps. The longest one is we still need a $0 PID, so probably working with your account team and all that to put the order in takes a while, and I don't know how fast your internet is to download. But once you download the image and you have your license, we can deploy this in far less than an hour. Because you need to, step 2 is like deploy CCGM ESXi, registration, enrollment. These are like 1 minute events. And 5, enjoy a single pane of glass. You can have it red or white, depends. Actually, we have it white or dark, don't we? We do support dark mode. So it all starts with placing a $0 order in CCW. CCW is a Cisco system that your partners or your account team uses to place orders with Cisco, and that sets into motion a whole lot of automation. So what we did is to create automation, we created a cloud registration service called CRS. If you've been talking to routing, don't confuse that with a Cisco routing subscription. 2 very different things. This is just automation for registration that we do here to automate how we bring those in, especially if you have a lot of them. So it's kind of like the whole notion of to order CCGM, it's like crawl, walk, run. And you order the, or not you, but your account team is going to order this in CCW. That creates a new profile for CCGM. Here we have an example. We have a smart account name called Catalyst Center TME, and we have a virtual account called CCGM USA. We then use the magic of APIs to go to the cloud registration. We create the new profile, and we attach this to your smart account and to your virtual account. Makes this very, very simple. You don't see it, right? Because this is all the automation we provide in the background. And we try to make this just about as seamless as we can, much like plug and play. So today, zero-touch provisioning for this. Think about it. You have Catalyst Center, you have DHCP and DNS servers in your infrastructure. You have a switch. You power it on. The switch gets its DHCP address. At that point, it sends a request to Catalyst Center because of option 43. And then we're able to make this unclaimed Catalyst Center. And this is how easy it is to run zero-touch provision in Catalyst Center to discover. So we're doing the same thing with CRS. So you have the cloud registration service. And from there, what we do is we have CCGM. And our example here is an IP address. When CCGM comes up, it will go ahead and registers into our cloud registration service using the same smart account and virtual account that you have. And then when Catalyst Center comes on, it will go ahead and also try to register using the same SA and VA that we have in CCW into CRS. Now, some of you have 8 Catalyst centers. Do you want all of them in there? Yes? What if you don't want one? So, I mean, as much as you provide the automation, there's still one step you got to do here, and that step is you have to go and activate the global manager integration in Catalyst Center. So if you have ones that you don't want to integrate, just don't activate that. But as soon as you activate that, that's when they go through the process of connecting to CRS and starting this. And after that happens, then they retrieve the global manager IP from CRS, and then they start exchanging certificates, tokens, and creating the connection back into that. So I think from here, the question true as follows. Are all my Catalyst centers will be automatically connected to Global Manager? Only if you want them to, right? So it's up to you to just go activate them. So with that, I'm now going to give this over to Prajit, who's going to actually do some demos on how we do this.
Lovely. Thank you,
Prajit.
Shai. Yes. Very good question. So yeah, for on CCGM, there is a capability of enabling a proxies to get you out to the internet, to reach the CRS. So the question was, is there a capability on CCGM to have a proxy to go out to the internet? And yes, there is. Good question. Awesome. Thank you, Shai. So now that you know everything about how to get it integrated, let's see how you can install CCGM, right? It's going to be fairly simple for somebody who has done this a lot of times on VMware ESXi, but we still wanted to show that to you and quickly, right? And this is same as bringing up a Catalyst Center on VMware ESXi. It's powered by Maglev. So what you would do is you would go to software.cisco.com, you would download the OVA file of CCGM, then you would deploy using OVF template on VMware. Now you can then run Maglev, give it IP address, netmask, DHCP, NTP, proxy, and then you'll have access to CCGM, right? Now, Shai mentioned there were some prerequisites where you have to mention your smart account and virtual account. So it's all tied to your smart account virtual account because the first time when you will deploy CCGM, it's going to ask you to register to the cloud so that it knows the IP address of CCGM and so that any future Catalyst Center can come find it. So how do you find your SAVA and put users as a part of SAVA? You can go to software.cisco.com, and in there there's a Smart Account tab. Over there, you can find your Smart Account virtual account, and you can add yourself as a user, and then use that for registration. Now, when on CCGM, you can do the first-time registration either when you first log in, and it will ask you for your email address of your user. It's going to go out to the CRS and do the registration. Same thing on Catalyst Center. You would go to settings and you would go to global manager integration and you will do the enrollment. With one click of a button, it will go and enroll with the CCGM. Now, let's see how easy the installation is. So what I'm showcasing here is I'm going to software.cisco.com and I'm going to look at the CCGM OVA file. Here, I'll do the deploy OVF template and select my OVF template. Now here, if I go next, I can give a name for CCGM. And this is same as your typical VMware installation. So nothing new over here. So now once I go there, I can select which ESXi host do I want to get it deployed on. Once I do that, I can select if I want thick or thin provisioning. We support both. I can select what data store disk space do I want to work with and which one IP address network that I want to select, right? So single IP, and then I can go and deploy it. In some time, the VM will power on, and you'll be able to then do the Maglev installation. So this is as easy as deploying any simple VMware ESXi VM. So let's wait for this to complete, and then we'll do it. Any questions so far? Yes?
Are you going to support KVM in the future? It seems like there's a lot of heartburn in VMware right now, so this will probably be
Very good question. So support for KVM is definitely coming in the future. That Shai mentioned.
Well, I mean, we're aware that a lot of our customers are moving away from VMware due to the licensing. There are other moving away, de-investing. So KVM is one of our next targeted form factors, and potentially also looking at how we cloudify this so we can make this cloud native as well. So we're looking at right now, we're looking at KVM.
Let me come to you. What was the question, sorry?
What are the minimum requirements?
Very good question. So for the virtual machine of CCGM, what is the spec? It's 8 vCPUs, 16 GB RAM, and 650 GB hard drive. That's it. Very light, extremely light.
It's a stateless. It's really stateless. So we use a lot of APIs to collect information. We're not doing a lot of data replication.
Is there any plan for AHV, given the Cisco's relationship now with
Nutanix. I think we are, the question is, do we have any plans for AHV to support in CCGM? Amit is our product manager here. Amit, are we thinking along those lines?
KVM should run on Nutanix.
Yeah.
So we're looking at with the KVM, we should hit a wide range of, there's quite a few Red Hat-based hypervisors, and Nutanix can all support KVM. But if we're looking for a specific Nutanix native, right now, like I said, our focus is KVM because we think that's going to hit the wider market need.
Plus one to that. So yes, KVM, so we see how we can kind of have a OEM models that have multiple. Oh yeah, definitely.
Great questions. All right, let's continue with the demo. So now the VM has powered on. It's going to ask you if you want to do a web wizard install or a CLI maglev install. I've selected CLI maglev over here. You could do web as well, like you do in Catalyst Center. And here it's just going to ask me for one single interface IP address, the same VNet that you had selected on VMware ESXi. So I'm going to give my IP address, netmask, gateway, and then that's about it. So if I click on next, so this is going to ask us for our DNS server for CCGM. So once we go next, so here it's going to do the validation of your network connectivity to your DNS servers and outside reachability to your gateway so that it can go then connect to the internet and have your CRS connection working. So here we're going to check, so the question about proxy. So this is where we are configuring the proxy, which is optional. So in our lab at Cisco, we have the proxy, so I'm configuring that. All right, if I go next, so we don't have it clustered today. It's a single node, so there's no need for cluster. And I'm going to enter my CLI password for CCGM. And finally, we need NTP server, right? So these are the few just inputs that are needed to get this going. And once I do the proceed, in the next 45 minutes, our CCGM is going to be up and operational, right? So this whole process, this is the longest time it's going to take for the entire process, that 45 minutes. All the rest, the registration and login and enrolling of Catalyst Center, that just takes 2 minutes each, 1 to 2 minutes. It's very fast. So here you can see my CCGM is ready to go with my IP address of 10.195.180.215. I could go to any browser and log in, and I will see the login for CCGM. So how was the install? Pretty simple? Pretty easy? OK, good. All right, I think once we log in, we also take you to the first-time registration. And for security, we ask you to change the default username and password. So we'll do that. And that's it. Let's go on to the next one. So now that you know how we can deploy CCGM on ESXi, so the first step is done, right? You also were able to do the registration. Now, what all can I do? What are my features on CCGM? So first of all, the very first thing that you will, when you log in, you will see the home page where you're going to see the consolidated site hierarchy, right? What that means is your Catalyst centers that you might have added, 4 or 5, they might have multiple sites added. So we will all show all of the sites into one single view over here. You could click on any one of those sites, and it will show you this whole data will change based on that site. And we're going to go into demo of this as well. We have also added global search. So any of you can search with your IP address, MAC address, site name, username, software version. Any of that search can be happen right on the home page. We also show you the top alerts going on in your network right now. Critical alerts, major poor sites, top 5 major alerts going on, so that as a NOC admin, as an engineer, the first time you log in, you can see the entire view across your Catalyst Center right here on the home page. We also have few more dashboards on the left-hand side, which we're going to go into detail, like alerts, device inventory, dashboard for your clients, endpoints, and also workflows. And finally, you can do both fabric and non-fabric monitoring right here. Now, let's look into how the site hierarchy works, right? So for site hierarchy, like I was saying, we'll show you consolidated view of all the sites that are coming from all the different catalyst centers, right? And then you can filter down on site with the name. And when you click on that site, it's going to be able to change the alerts and all the notification based on that. And finally, the similar thing happens on another dashboard for device inventory. This is your consolidated view of your device inventory across your catalyst center. So imagine, Shai mentioned 27 million devices, right? All of them will show up right here. You can filter them easily. And you see those red bars. So we have made it so that you can filter them based on sites. You can filter them based on device role, device type. You can filter them based on health of those. So I can do show me my poor health devices that are in San Jose site, and these are core devices or access switches, right? So you can filter them based on that or a name, which is very helpful. Because we know this is going to scale pretty heavily, so we want it to be make it easy for you to find stuff over here. Now, how does the alerts dashboard look like, right? So top alerts, again, will show up on the top. You can filter them, like I was mentioning, based on sites and device type. And in the bottom, you will be able to list all the issues. And one beautiful thing that we have done is we know catalyst centers, there might be an alert that might be coming more than one time. So what we do is we actually aggregate and consolidate all the alerts and show up as one, single one. So we can say, hey, you're having a poor RF of an AP in all of these floors of your given building, right? So you don't have to have 5 different alerts for the same thing. For a single issue, we'll show you how many alerts and what sites those alerts are coming from. So that will help a lot in troubleshooting. We are also going to tell you what sites this is coming from. So all of these granularity details are going to come with this one. Now, Shai was mentioning, this is also your manager of catalyst centers, right? So you will see all of your catalyst centers that you have enrolled today with CCGM. You will see the health of them, the reachability, what version they are running on, and quickly you'll be able to check what issues are going on in that controller. And you can easily cross-launch into that controller by clicking one button, System 360 or System Help. Yes, Shai?
Can I upgrade my catalyst centers from Global Manager?
You will be in the future. So, right. So that is definitely looking into making the upgrade process easy as well, both for catalyst center and your network devices. So we don't have that today, but in the future, we are definitely looking into that. All right. So we are going to go over the health. We are going to go over the status of the problem, and also be able to cross-launch into the catalyst center. We went over that. Now, this is my favorite feature, which is a global search. So as a NOC admin, I might be getting asked, hey, how is I was not able to log in the morning. I can ask them for their username or IP address, and I could just quickly type that on my global search. And I don't need to care about what catalyst center they come from. This will easily tell, I can just click on that. I can know which catalyst center they connect to, what kind of device is it, what software version is it running on, and I can quickly click on the device 360, and it's going to be able to cross-launch me into that catalyst center, where all the rest of the troubleshooting can happen. And we'll see all of this in the demo. All right. So this demo was actually prepared an hour ago, and this is running on our live cluster in San Jose Cisco building, building 23. So you'll see some real good data from right this morning as a NOC admin, right? So we are all network engineers over here. So let's do this demo, right? So first time I log into CCGM, I'm going to be able to, there's a lot of things happening on my home screen. So I can go back in time, and I can see my status change for my entire screen, right? So I went back 7 days. If I come back to last 3 hours, I can again see my latest view. I see there are some top 5 alerts happening. I can see there are some critical alerts going on. On the top, I can see my controller health. So my catalyst center, I have 3 catalyst centers today. So let me first focus on my top 5 alerts that are going on right now. So I see there is a switch unreachable. There was an AP reboot that happened. There was also a poor RF that happened on floor, and it's sending me 5 alerts. Right, so that you can quickly go into that as well. So now what I'm going to do is on the bottom widget is we want to quickly tell you what issues are going on, what critical, major, and what sites are not behaving well. And underneath are my different widgets for all the different device types, routing, wireless, switching. And we also have customization. So say today you don't have SD access fabric. I can quickly remove that, and my screen clears up. it won't show 0 data, right? But I do have SD access running, I do have wireless running, so I can quickly check that, enable that, and now my view has changed. It is going to go, CCGM will go run those API calls and get all that data back to CCGM. Now, what I'm showing here is on the left-hand side, our site hierarchy consolidation. So as you can see, my CCGM has 3 sites that's showing up from the Catalyst Center. One is San Jose, one is Milpitas, one is Bangalore. I just clicked on my San Jose site, and all of my data now changed for that San Jose site, which is beautiful, right? So as a NOC admin, if I'm given responsibility just to take care of San Jose area, I could just click that and I can monitor that. I don't need to have the clutter for all the other rest of them. So now let's go into alerts, right? So I think I was at the top 5 alerts. I saw that there was a poor RF on one of the floors. Now when I click on it, as you can see, there are 4 and 7 alerts coming from 2 different sites, San Jose and Milpitas. Now, we quickly let you know what could be going on. There seems like a high interference going on in some of these APs on each of the floor on San Jose building 24, right? Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on that, and it's going to cross-launch me and take me directly to the Catalyst Center where this issue is coming from. As you notice, I did not have to log in. This was a cross-launch with a seamless, no user login required. And all the rest of the troubleshooting will stay with Catalyst Center. So that all the experience that we have put, all the troubleshooting knowledge that we have put in Catalyst Center still stays there. Now, what the next thing we are seeing is, I just reset my alerts. Earlier, I was just looking at poor RF alerts. I just reset my alerts, and now I get all of my alerts that are happening globally, not just in the San Jose area. So I can now, again, toggle between these nodes, tell me all my critical alerts, tell me all my minor or major alerts. And once I'm in a major, I could say, all right, show me my alerts that are happening in San Jose, or show me all the alerts that are going on with the access points. So that was alerts. Now the next thing is device consolidation. So as we told you before, we are also consolidating all of your list of devices. So in this UI, you see all of my switches, routers, wireless LAN controllers, access point, all will show up here. And as you see, we are keeping it standard to all the other dashboards as well, so that your experience is good. I can click on the poor, what are my devices that are in poor health, so it will give me a list of those. So I was seeing some RF issues in Milpitas happening. I just clicked on that, and it'll tell me everything in San Jose 23, all of the devices that are in question, right? So imagine the ease of where you were able to find that quickly on CCGM, just going back on that dashboard. All right, sorry. So I think this is, we are showcasing, the next point we are gonna show is endpoints, which are the clients. So what are your clients' health look like, right? And that is our number 1 issues that get reported as a network engineer, that, hey, I was having problem with my WebEx Teams calls or my MS Teams call, or I was not able to log in. So for that, we have given you an endpoint dashboard, right? So where, again, you can see your endpoints that are in poor health are both wireless and wired endpoints that are in poor health. And you could also, again, filter down based on sites and issue type, right? So if I go back to my wireless client, what I noticed this morning, and I was very impressed by it, one of my Windows PC, which is lying underneath my desk that I use for FTP of images to my back and forth to my lab is showing up here. It's called pbugga, that's my Cisco ID. It's showing up as an unclassified device, and it's in poor health. So I was curious, I was like, what's going on with that? So I clicked on that, and it took me to Catalyst Center 360 page, and here I was able to see, all right, seems like there was a AAA authentication error happening, right? So it might have gotten logged out, or somebody might be trying to log in with the wrong username and password. I don't know, right? So I can see all of that right here with CCGM, and this is real device, real data that's happening. Now, for further troubleshooting, like I mentioned, we have done so much effort on Catalyst Center, so all that will stay there for now. In the future, we are bringing some of the troubleshooting to CCGM as well. Now, on the global search, I actually searched for Shai. So I searched for his username as Silberman, and I was able to see one device that Shai owns. So he has an access point today that he has connected to the Alpha network. He also has a device, and so this is the power of global search. I could search with their IP address, host name. I could search with any of those things, and I will be able to do a cross-launch into the stuff that user is bringing. Now, another thing that I search for, I don't know if it's clear, I search for San Jose, SJC. So now I can see I have some sites showing up, I have some endpoints showing up, I have some devices showing up over there. So we are refining and we are enhancing this global search feature as well, so that you'll get a lot of data right here on the global manager. Now in the endpoint, you might know there's going to be, Shai mentioned 178 million endpoints can be added, right? Now, to quickly filter, we've added a filter for endpoints. I'm going to search for endpoint name with Angelica or Angeli, and once it saves, it's going to load up, and I can now cross-launch into the profile of Client 360. So now we saw the alerts. Now let's look into how the controller or Catalyst Center that we have enrolled, how can we check the health of that? So here I've added Catalyst Center. I go to the controllers tab. I can see that my certificate might be expiring in 27 days. That's what it's complaining about. That's why it's in poor health. So now when I reset, I see the other two Catalyst Centers that I have added. I can see what IP address they're bringing. I can again cross-launch to the Catalyst Center, to the system health or system 360 view, and then it's going to be able to, I can troubleshoot or further drill down what the issue might be happening. I'll pause here. There was a lot of information. How are we doing? Doing good? Okay, perfect. So what I'm showing, all right, so this is what I was very excited for. This is the brand new feature that's coming next month, actually. It's called Situational Dashboard. And Shai mentioned this is kind of like your AI Canvas demo that you might have heard about in Keynote. So on CCGM, it's going to be possible for you to create your own canvas. So what that actually means is, I'm going to actually go here. So what that actually means is, here we go. So we know, when you want to troubleshoot a client issue or a device problem, there are many different dashboards or graphs that you need from many different places on a controller, right? So with this situational dashboard, we allow you to pick and choose what graphs do you need to troubleshoot for an issue, and you can create that page, right? So that in the future, anytime another issue happens like that, if a client is having a problem, I could just plug in that client IP address, and it's going to take me, or it's going to show me all the graphs or all the issues that are going on with that client. So here, I pick and chose some client issues that were happening. It has created all of these dashboards. I mean, it has created that one client dashboard for me. So in that one client dashboard, I can see my onboarding times of that client. I can see the roaming times of that client. I can see what was the connectivity SNR like. So now that I know there's a problem, I could easily global search as a network admin and go and try to fix it, right? So now, these are all the different types of situational dashboard canvases that are possible. And as we go forward, we're going to keep on adding to this one so that it makes it more easier for network engineers to troubleshoot. So with an existing dashboard, I can even add more. I can remove. All of those things are possible. How do you guys like this? Is this good? Is this usable? Perfect. Awesome. So here, I think what I'm showing here is that I'm doing some device troubleshooting. So for my access points, I'm seeing, okay, well, what are my top access points by client, and what are some high interference ones, so that the RF issues that we were facing. I also have a dashboard for my network devices, where I also see my ICE clusters added, right? So I can see my ICE connectivity issue. So that was situational dashboard. Now one more thing. Right, for everybody who likes dark mode, right? This looks beautiful in the dark mode as well, right? So I just wanted to do a quick run of how the screens would look like. This is our home screen. I could go into the global site hierarchy. I can check my top 5 alerts like we did before. This is my site consolidation. All of the things are changing. I could do global search. This is my alerts dashboard. So easier on the eyes. Right, so definitely people who appreciate dark mode would appreciate this. A lot of work has gone behind making this happen.
Especially in NOC environments, the dark screens help a lot.
Yeah. So here I'm doing the global search, same on the dark mode. So that was the demo. I hope this was good, right? How are we feeling? Good? Awesome, perfect. So now let's get into what is powering, or like what made all of this happen. Let's go underneath the architecture level, right? So what we wanted to create when engineering was thinking about this, they wanted to create a flexible design for CCGM, right? They didn't want to do anything statically. They wanted to have it so that it stays independent with Kata Center or any other controllers that it adds in the future with their releases, right? We didn't want it to be independent. We wanted to move faster, release new products quicker. So we wanted to have a flexible design. We wanted to be independent with the releases. We wanted to have standard REST API, public API communication between CCGM and Kata Center. We wanted the ownership to stay with Kata Center in terms of pushing data, provisioning data, so that is still there. And we also wanted the controllers to work independently also. We did not want the CCGM to be the single source of truth in terms of provisioning. We wanted controllers to be able to do work by itself as well. So now, to make this happen, we wanted to do a few things. We had to make sure that the security was established, right, by establishing trust between CCGM and Kata Center. We wanted to make sure there's a secure channel created. So there's a tunnel between CCGM and Kata Center. So only through that tunnel, the APIs could flow and it stays secure. We also wanted to make sure that the user authentication was kept in mind. So what that means is, say a user exists on CCGM, but they do not exist on Kata Center. They should not, the sites for that Kata Center should not show up for this user. Okay? And if for some reason they are able to cross-launch into that Kata Center, it should fail, right? So we wanted to make sure that and it's all tied to a local user or an external authentication user with your AAA server as well, right? So we are supporting both of that. We wanted to support a system that supports both of that. So how we make it work is, we're going to come in the future, but we do token exchange between CCGM and Kata Center. And for that user, we take that token, and then we run the API calls using that token, right? So we know that the user is authenticated. This is the privileges it has on Kata Center, if it's either an observer or a network admin, and then we run that API calls, right? So this is what the whole thought process was. And there's also API aggregation happening. So think about 25 Kata Centers today, and sharing thousands of APIs, right, for your issues dashboard that I showed you, alerts dashboard that I showed you, right? There's so many API calls that are getting run. Even just on the home screen, there are more than 100 APIs that are being run to gather all that data. So we have to aggregate all that data and show you that in a simple, easy-to-view format, right? So aggregation had to work. API aggregation had to work. We also had to keep it consistent with all the Cisco products, right? Kata Center, the same look and feel, same UI. Any of the future magnetic controllers dashboard that Cisco is creating. So we had to make sure we were building something architecture-wise that has all of these in check. Now, let's double click on how does a secure communication work between CCGM and Kata Center. So first of all, there is a certificate exchange that happens between CCGM and Kata Center, so that APIs can run between them. Now, every API, like I was mentioning, has a token attached to it. So CCGM will take that user's username and ask Kata Center to provide a token for that user. And with that token will come what is the credential, or what is the what is the reach, or what can the user do on Kata Center, and then the APIs will work, right? And this is, like I was mentioning, taking both local user and external user for AAA in mind, right? So all of that is supported. Any questions so far? That was a lot of information. How are we doing? Yes, sir.
Maybe you answered this already.
Yeah.
Is this going to be able to upgrade Catalyst Center in the future? And somebody asked about
Yeah. Very good question. So the question was, can CCGM in the future upgrade Kata Center or network devices? Absolutely, it's in our mind. It's what we want to do in the future. That is definitely there. Yeah. For right now, it's just visibility, aggregation, troubleshooting. In the future, we are looking into more authoring of configuration policy, as well. Yeah, absolutely. Yes, sir.
I have 4 right now, and I want to make sure that they have complete fault zone. And I want no global change that impacts all 4. How are you guys going to protect against that?
That is a very good question. So I think your question was, correct me if I'm wrong, You were saying if you authored a config change up top on CCGM, that could affect your 4 controllers down below. What are we doing to make sure all of that is covered and we don't mistakenly do anything, right? To cause an impact on your network. So so that's why we are doing this in phases. That's why this is visibility phase today. The next phase is going to be policy and config authoring phase, where you'll be able to define a configuration on CCGM. It's going to push that template or profile onto your controllers. Now, as an admin, you will be responsible to deploying that to your devices from the Catalyst Center. So we don't directly will deploy on the devices, right? We will put it on your controller, Catalyst Center, and then you will deploy it from there, provision from there.
We're also looking at potentially giving ability to put some Catalyst, and we're looking at this, is how to put like some in read-only mode, because you may, for example, have a lab, so you might want to activate that one so you can kind of run your test from there. And you note if it's in read-only mode, we're not going to push any changes to the read-only mode nodes.
Yeah, very good point.
I think the thing I would like to see in that is a super admin level type person. That's the one that can do global changes. But anybody else, they're limited to the one that they're authorized to do it. So role-based access control.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. So I think, yeah,
It really does need to be highly.
absolutely. Absolutely. So your suggestion was that there should be a role-based access control on CCGM so that only the admins can do all of these changes and not somebody who has an observer access. So that is actually in place today. So you would have your super admin, network admin, and observer roles on CCGM as well.
Even more specific, I want my one person, he can do everything. But
Yep.
these other 4, they can only change their region, their environment.
Yeah. Because it's controller-based, and tomorrow with Catalyst Center bringing site-based, role-based access control, you're going to be able to limit that to the site level as well on CCGM.
And don't forget, as we do the API call, whatever permission that user has in a local Catalyst Center are going to also persist. So we're not overriding any of the permissions that you have on the actual controller.
Yep. Lovely. Great question. All right, so I think all we talked about, the architecture, this is how it is underneath, where, like I was mentioning, all the APIs are getting aggregated and showing up on the UI of CCGM. Underneath, we are taking all of that data from all the different Catalyst Center in the secure channel, and that is how all of this is happening. So you have to keep a peace of mind that this is all done via securely, right? Even if your Catalyst Center is miles away in a different country, this is all going to be done in a secure way, secure channel. All right, can CCGM be deployed on top of my Catalyst Center? True or false? False, right? Because it has to be deployed on a VMware, ESXi. That was a trick question. All right, so some housekeeping for CCGM. You can track you can audit or track who logged into your CCGM by going to audit logs, right? So everything that is happening in CCGM is getting recorded. You can track who logged in, what they did, and you can export this out to an external syslog server as well, just like Catalyst Center. Upgrading of CCGM is also very seamless. We have an inline upgrade. I'm running a demo as well over here. So you just go to your software management. You see there is a new release available. You could upgrade it right now, or you could schedule it for later if you wanted to. I'm going to upgrade it now. It's going to go through all the downloading of all the services, all the packages. It's going to go into the maintenance cycle to upgrade. And that's it, right? So you don't have to do backup restore or do a new CCGM. It's a seamless upgrade right from the UI.
And you're not going to lose any data while it's doing that because it's a stateless system. So as soon as it comes back up, we're going to pull the API information, and you're going to have the visibility of all your information.
Absolutely. Great call-out. Yep. Lovely. Now, the question could be, hey, can you do a backup of CCGM, right? Tomorrow, when we do start doing some authoring of profiles and policy, today it's all visibility, right? Today, it's all stateless, right? CCGM could die, you could bring a new one, enroll Catalyst Center, you'll still get the same data like you were doing. But for tomorrow, we're thinking ahead, you could still do backup using your NFS server, or on VMware, you can take a backup with your local disk as well. So you can create a local disk, and that local disk of ESXi will show up on CCGM as a mount path. So that's a very cool thing we did in ESXi Catalyst Center, right? So earlier you had to create an NFS server outside, but now with Catalyst Center ESXi and CCGM, you don't have to do that. You could have just a path created local disk created right on ESXi. And restoring is the same as Catalyst Center. All right, we are at the final stretch. What about CCGM APIs, right? So as Shai mentioned, with Catalyst Center product, we are going API first with anything that we built, right? So same thing is with CCGM. It's API first. Everything that you saw that the dashboard could do, we have APIs for that, right? So imagine pulling in data about all of your Catalyst Center using APIs externally, right? This is very powerful. You could also enroll, I think we talk about this one. So you could also subscribe to CCGM notifications, right? So say you wanted to, you have an alert that you get on CCGM, you wanted to send it out to PagerDuty or SysOc server or WebEx, you can do that, right? Just as Catalyst Center. So that you don't have to keep logging to the dashboard, you can get alerts if there's any alert. So you can also subscribe to the CCGM alert. Last question, how is CCGM? Is it awesome? True or false? True. Thank you.